apprehended a dangerous experiment. Cruisers.
The story begins somewhere out in the galaxy when the Galactic Council calls an emergency meeting. Alarms are blaring. Something's gone wrong in one of their labs. A scientist has cooked up a creature without council approval. They call it a monster. The one behind it is Jookiba, a scientist who claims he's a genius, but to the council, his invention is an abomination. Experiment 626 is a beast, unstoppable, nearly unbreakable, and smart enough to outthink 100 computers. The Grand Councilwoman wonders aloud, maybe this creature never asked to be made. Maybe it can choose good for itself. But just as they're starting to consider the possibility, the experiment, nicknamed Stitch, mocks them all. Decision made. Jumba's lab is shut down, and Stitch is to be exiled to a remote part of the universe. As a scientist approaches to study him more, Stitch goes full chaos. He breaks loose, tears through the room, hijacks a ship, and blasts off. The council tracks the ship. It's headed for Earth. They expect it to crash in the ocean. But it doesn't. It crashes on solid land. Jumba is sent to recover his creation but must be accompanied by Agent Pleakley, who's fascinated by Earth. He knows it's a protected planet filled with delicate ecosystems and fashion statements. The Grand Councilwoman reluctantly agrees. They're going to Earth, but they must remain hidden. On Earth, we meet Lilo, a quirky girl living in Hawaii. She feeds fish, makes bracelets, and lets chickens loose. But when she's late for hula class, things go south. The other girls tease her and call her names. When her sister Nani doesn't show up to watch her perform, Lilo lashes out. What they don't know is that Nani's car broke down. Back home, Lilo is still upset. She writes a note telling Nani to leave. Right then, a social worker shows up to inspect the house. Nani struggles to get in through a locked door, finally forcing it open. The worker asks for tea, but they don't even have any in the house. Smoke detectors are disabled. Lilo is too honest about their situation, and the social worker gives Nani an ultimatum. Fix everything by Friday or risk losing custody. Nani, overwhelmed, breaks down. Her neighbor Tutu reminds her she's stronger than she thinks. David, the sweet, clumsy neighbor, tries to cheer her up with a surfing invite. Meanwhile, Stitch's ship malfunctions, and he crash lands on Earth. Things between Lilo and Nani ease up a bit. During dinner, Lilo admits she pushed a classmate. Nani reassures her, she's not a bad kid, just going through a lot. Lilo quietly says, "You're a better sister than Mom." That night, they see a shooting star. Lilo makes a wish for a real friend, someone who won't laugh at her or leave her. Right then, Stitch crashes into Earth like a meteor. He walks away without a scratch. Drawn to the sounds of a wedding, he zaps himself on some wires, shrugs it off, and crashes the party in search of cake. Chaos ensues. Jumba and Pleakley arrive, still arguing, but manage to track him down thanks to the destruction he leaves behind. Stitch ends up under a bus but survives. The agents disguise themselves as humans and blend in shockingly well. Jumba opens an interdimensional portal to track Stitch, but a random bystander sees everything. The news breaks. Some strange creature has been spotted. The local shelter gets him. Lilo, wanting a pet, visits the shelter. The candy she used to feed the dogs is banned. It upset their stomachs. Meanwhile, Stitch catches the scent of cake, escapes his cage, but knocks himself out trying to flee. Lilo walks in and sees Stitch. The agents nearby are told not to engage while humans are around. Stitch, realizing this, pretends to be a helpless puppy. He says, "Hi," melting Lilo's heart. She chooses him. The agents try to intervene but back off. Jumba even zaps his own partner in frustration. Back home, Nani is furious about the new pet. She agrees it can stay one night, then it's going back. Elsewhere, we meet Cobra Bubbles, a mysterious ex-CIA agent investigating the crash. A tip points him to the strange creature roaming the island. Lilo proudly shows Stitch to the other girls, but they mock her. One pulls out a toy car. Stitch goes wild. He hotwires it and takes Lilo on a wild ride. She tries to share her world, but Stitch remains distant. At the beach, in the sand, he's still disconnected. Nani takes them to work, and during the ride, Lilo gives him a name, Stitch. Agents spot them and attach a tracker to Stitch. David shows up at Nani's workplace, trying to talk to Lilo. She blurts out that Nani thinks his hair is cute. He blushes. Stitch gets bored and causes trouble. He discovers fire and becomes obsessed. He starts a small blaze that turns into a full fire. Sirens blare. Cops show up. Nani gets fired. Lilo is devastated. Stitch tries to make her laugh, but nothing works. The Grand Councilwoman checks in, still no capture. The agents crash into each other mid-report. She sighs, half-jokingly suggesting they blow up the planet. That night, Nani returns home drained. Lilo tries to bathe Stitch. He resists like crazy. Outside, Cobra Bubbles watches quietly. Nani breaks down. She says, "Our parents left us. She can't take the chaos anymore." She decides, they're taking Stitch back to the shelter tomorrow. Elsewhere, Cobra Bubbles calls the social worker. He plans to go undercover and assess the situation himself. Back at home, Lilo tries to talk some sense into Stitch, wants him to understand what it means to have a family, but he doesn't really get it yet. Once he finally calms down, Lilo opens up to him. She tells him about her sister Nani, how she used to be the best at school and surfing. She talks about how much she misses their parents. Then, with a soft smile, she asks him, "Do you have a family?" Stitch looks at her and simply says, "No. I got no one." Trying to lift the mood, Lilo shows him a photo of her hula group and starts teaching him a little dance. Bit by bit, something begins to change in Stitch. You can see it, especially when Lilo gives him a soft kiss on the nose. That tiny gesture of love hits him deep. The next morning, Nani is rushing to a job interview. She grabs Lilo and Stitch and heads out the door. Just as they're leaving, the social worker shows up, this time with Cobra Bubbles at her side. The social worker warns Nani again. If things don't improve, she could lose custody of Lilo. Lilo, meanwhile, notices the word Cobra tattooed on the man's knuckles and realizes this guy's no ordinary caseworker. Cobra, keeping his cool, quietly swipes a small fur sample from Stitch for testing. Meanwhile, the alien agents are still on the hunt. With no other option, Nani leaves Lilo and Stitch with the social worker while she races to the interview. From a distance, the agents follow. Left alone, Lilo decides it's time to teach Stitch the basics of being a decent citizen. Lesson 1. Help out when someone needs it. Lesson 2. Don't break stuff. Lesson 3. Fix your mistakes, even if that means returning the toy car he stole from a little girl. She even tries to teach him to stay calm, though that one's still a serious challenge. Unfortunately, despite all Lilo's efforts, Stitch's antics ruin Nani's job interview, again. But just when it feels like all hope is lost, Stitch spots something. A job posting for surf instructors, Nani's thing. Her favorite thing. They race over to the beach. As they watch her surf, Stitch sees a dog riding aboard and becomes mesmerized. He begs the instructors to let him try, and shockingly, he's kind of good. But the fun doesn't last. The alien agents show up, and chaos follows. During a wild move, Stitch accidentally sends Lilo and himself flying off the surfboard. Panicked and sinking, Stitch tries to push Lilo above water, but she's too heavy. They're both in danger. Thankfully, David jumps in and pulls her out just in time. At the hospital, Lilo is going to be okay, but when the doctors ask about health insurance, Nani has to admit she doesn't have any. That's when the social worker steps in with an offer. The state can cover the medical bills, but Nani would have to give up custody of her sister. The price of help is losing Lilo. Somewhere else, the alien agents are casually taking a bath when a call comes in from the Grand Councilwoman. Jumba admits without shame that he designed Experiment 626 to be extremely dangerous. The Councilwoman is furious. They've exposed the experiment to humans and still haven't captured him. She orders Pleakley to arrest Jumba and shut down the mission. Jumba, being crafty, tricks his partner and escapes capture once again. Back at the hospital, Nani visits her little sister. She tries to explain what's happening but is visibly shaken. Lilo can feel something bad is coming. Nani, fighting back tears, says things are going to change, that they might not be together anymore. Lilo follows her outside. They sit together, talking about their parents and how much they miss them. In a touching moment, Lilo says, "You're like my mom now. And you're doing a really good job." Then she asks Nani to sing, just like she used to. Overwhelmed with guilt, Stitch decides to leave. Sad and confused, he returns to the animal shelter and quietly locks himself in a cage. He just wants a little peace. The next day, the social worker and Cobra Bubbles arrive at the house. Nani, holding back tears, accepts that maybe this is what's best for Lilo. But when they go to Lilo's room, she's gone. Turns out she went looking for Stitch and finds him curled up in the shelter cage. He tells her he broke her family. That he's a monster. That it's all his fault. But Lilo, full of love, tells him it was just an accident. "You're not bad," she says, "you just do bad things sometimes." She reminds him, Ohana means family, and family means no one gets left behind. Suddenly, a portal rips open. Jumba's back, ready to take Stitch by force. But Stitch reacts fast, grabs the control device, and launches Jumba into a dimensional trap. Of course, Jumba escapes, transforms, and the chase begins. Lilo and Stitch run, but Jumba catches up quickly. As they dodge through the wreckage of their home, Jumba tears everything apart. Lilo stops. She sees her home, her memories, getting destroyed. She won't leave it all behind. She stands her ground. And Stitch turns back, ready to protect her. Outside, Pleakley watches, waiting for the right moment. Inside, Stitch fights hard but is overpowered. Jumba throws cruel words. "This family fell apart because of you. You chose that girl just to protect yourself. If you really care, leave." Shattered, Stitch lowers his head and surrenders. What he doesn't know is that Lilo followed him into the portal. Inside the ship, Jumba locks up Stitch and reveals his true plan: to upgrade him, turn him into Experiment 727, stronger, deadlier, and even more evil. Back at the destroyed house, no one can find Lilo. Pleakley finally reveals the truth. She's aboard the alien ship. Cobra Bubbles confronts Pleakley, declares he's taking him in, but then gets a call from the lab. Stitch's fur is not from any known Earth species. That changes everything. Cobra, Nani, and the others race to save Lilo. On the ship, Lilo is locked up. Stitch, thinking fast, guides her to break through the security system. Together, they outsmart Jumba, trap him, and launch him into the ocean. But the ship's crashing. Lilo freezes at the jump. Stitch reaches out. "We'll be okay. We jump together." Just as they're about to leap, a photo slips from Lilo's pocket, her family. Stitch dives after it without hesitation. The ship crashes into the ocean. Amid wreckage, Stitch surfaces, but Lilo's gone. He dives in. Underwater, he finds her trapped, helps her rise. Nani, Cobra, and the others arrive and pull her to safety. But Stitch is still underwater. Nani is ready to give up, but Lilo stops her with one word, "Ohana." Nani dives in and pulls Stitch toward shore. They revive him with a car battery. Nothing. Silence. Then, a twitch. Stitch coughs. He spits out the photo. He didn't jump to save himself. He jumped to save her family. Suddenly, a new ship descends. The Grand Councilwoman arrives. She declares Stitch must be contained, but when he asks permission to say goodbye, she agrees. He turns to everyone and says, "This is my family. It's small and it's broken, but it's good. Yeah, really good." She reconsiders. Maybe he can stay. Someone would need to supervise him. Pleakley volunteers. Still, she hesitates. Humans might discover them. That's when Cobra steps forward. He says, "Nothing will be revealed." She believes him. The sentence remains: Stitch will live in exile, here, on Earth. And in doing so, he finds more than a place to live. He finds family. Back home, their house is in ruins. But in the middle of the wreckage, one thing remains: their bond. The social worker arrives, not with warnings, but good news. Miss Tutu offers to adopt Lilo so she can stay with Nani. Nani is emotional. But Lilo, wiser now, gently says no. She wants Nani to follow her dreams, to study marine biology, just like their parents hoped. Miss Tutu reminds her, "You've got your Ohana. That means you've got a family who'll stand by you." They hug. The story ends. Lilo and Stitch teaches us that true family isn't about perfection or blood. It's about love, loyalty, and never leaving anyone behind. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and see you in the next video.